Welcome to the 37th episode of the Broken Pictures podcast / YouTube show where we discuss the top 3 things in pop culture that you may have missed.
There could potentially be spoilers for your favorite TV shows, movies, video games, and or comics. Listen, dearie, you've been warned. Live from Northwest Arkansas, this is The FOMO Show!
Hey nerds, this is Dylan.
And I'm Lydia.
This is Quin.
And we just want to say thanks for joining us today, whether you're new to the show or if you're returning. We're glad to have you along for the ride, and we hope that you'll join us live every Tuesday on YouTube at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Please like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon.
Ding.
That was like so in sync, it creeped me out a little bit for a second.
Yeah, stupid in stereo.
If you're listening on podcasts, please leave us 5 stars in your podcast app, or you can check out the website at www.broken.picturesno.com. Yeah.
Yep, my coffee is super hot, by the way.
I never did transition it whenever it was on like and subscribe.
Oh, well, that's fine. Yeah, special notes. You guys have anything today? I don't think I have anything outside of check out The Broken Dead. It's our Walking Dead show where we talk about each episode. It's kind of like an after show deal at 10 p.m. every Sunday night after The Walking Dead, after Talking Dead too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abby, if you're watching, happy birthday. It's a girl I work with.
Happy birthday, Abby.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, my
I'm gonna
friend.
have to get close. Intimate. I forgot to. Last week it was just me and Quinn, so I had the boxes scooted over a little bit, and I forgot to scoot it back with Lydia being here. So we gotta kind of.
Yeah, a special note. I'm back.
Yay!
Oh, wait, wrong hand. This hand.
Okay, that was unnecessary, and I hate you.
So, all right, yeah. So, spoiler alert! In case you didn't understand Quinn's funny accent, yeah, tune in. All his shenanigans. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm trying to like say, hey, if you didn't understand it, but it was still fun. But anyway, spoiler alert. We will get spoilery. We won't spoil your favorite fandoms on purpose, but we will talk about newsworthy items. So, like he said, you've been warned.
Yep.
So what are you guys watching, playing, reading into this week? Whatever kind of media you could get your hands on or whatever.
I got 3 things. First thing, last night, WWE 2K20 came out. Started playing that.
Noise.
I didn't like it.
Aw.
Initially, I did not like it. I mean,
So it's a miss.
it's not a miss. It wasn't broke, so why did you decide to fix it type of thing. But other than that, I'm gonna go home and change the controls, and then it'll be fun.
Gotcha.
Other
Yeah.
thing, y'all remember the Muppet TV show from 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, from 2015?
Yeah.
Vaguely, yeah. I remember that it was a thing, that it
Yeah.
like circulated back around. Didn't watch it.
Yeah, I was like, that's why
There
I
was a TV show and I missed it? Like, I freaking love the Muppets. I
Yeah.
came up on like the original, like the Muppet Show. This is
Yeah.
the Muppet Show, yeah!
Yeah, it was on.
I love that show.
ABC. I started watching that again because I was like, dang.
We watched
where
it.
it was
Yeah.
like behind the scenes
Yeah.
of their like,
It's
talk
Kermit,
show,
Miss
Yeah.
night
Piggy
show.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yes.
They
yes,
watched
we
it
did
for
watch
a
that.
long
Yeah.
time.
I-
I watched
Yeah,
like maybe
I thought it
half
was
an
fun.
episode.
It was more adultish.
It
than
was
usual.
super adult.
Yeah.
Liam was watching it with me this morning. He didn't get the humor, but he was like,
Super adultish,
know.
but me and my
They're
son were watching.
they're puppets. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I like this. Been watching that again. I don't know why. I just got a craving to watch it. And then, just my usual working on D&D things. That's about it.
Cool.
So this weekend while we were at my sister's visiting, because my brother got married. Yeah, that was a big special note that we missed. Congratulations, Levi and Francis. We were just kind of sitting around talking and everything, and was playing Modern Family in the background.
Yeah.
And we watched an episode, and I'm just like, I really want to watch all of Modern Family. Like, I just want to binge
I'm sure
it
that's
and, like,
it's going
watch
off the
it.
air this year.
I know. That's why I want to, because
gonna be a
now
big
you
one.
can, like, collectively just watch it and not be behind and, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those shows like Full House. It's like it doesn't matter, or Friends. You can just jump in at any point.
You can jump in, but it makes way more sense if you've watched it all.
That's the classic sitcom thing where there's a story that's loosely over, but you can still jump in.
Yeah. So I really want to start watching that. So I might try and binge that here soon. I started The Office over last night or yesterday because I had a headache and I liked something to play while I'm...
Did you finish Parks and Rec again?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For sure. I finished that on,
she
like,
was...
Sunday night?
Okay.
Or something. Yeah, because you brought me that book on, like, Sunday night.
Yeah.
So I finished Parks and Rec again, and I think I cry too much at the end of it. I think it's an unhealthy amount. So if you also love Parks and Rec and watch it, because it's over and it's so beautiful. If you were like some people that I know that watched Parks and Rec and then the last season were like, no, not gonna do it, no. Go watch the last episode, if anything. It's super, super satisfying. Probably one of my favorite endings to a show ever.
Really?
So I finished Parks and Rec and started The Office, which I haven't seen. I guess I should binge that. All of those things that we're not talking about.
Sorry, I'm still bitter.
I'm gonna start City of Bones is a book his wife let me borrow, so I'm gonna watch that. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna read it.
See it on the screen there.
So I'm gonna start reading that here soon since I'm not gonna actively start The Office again. But I am gonna try and read that book. So that's what I'm into.
Yeah.
Definitely say
How many
don't
times
miss
have
the
you watched
end
it without me now?
all of them.
Yeah, the first time it was like one of those is like I'm still not gonna let you let
this close
it
to
down.
starting Brooklyn Nine-Nine without you if you don't
have
start having free time.
You've mentioned that once.
No.
Let's watch this.
Twice, at least 3 times. I'm like,
over the
Brooklyn
course
Nine-Nine, I hear
of
it.
several years. So
It's only been on for
that's
like
not
2
fair.
years.
Like if it was like over the course of a couple weeks, okay, that's fair. Like
I gave you one opportunity to start watching The Office with me, and I
it's a standoff now because that was like one of them we're gonna watch together, and then I come home, and she's like halfway through it, and she's like, "Oops."
No, I was unabashedly like, I started The Office, and it's amazing.
Like,
so
that's great.
it wasn't even like an
I was
oops
waiting
thing.
for you.
Didn't even care. Started it. Watched Parks and Rec without him. Didn't care. Watched almost all of John Oliver last week tonight. Didn't care.
Really?
No, that was back in the day when we lived in Magnolia, remember?
Oh, okay.
Back when I was caught up.
Yeah.
I'd seen like every episode and then we stopped watching it. He would come home on his lunch breaks and I worked nights and so we would watch it. And then I'd be doing laundry for like the next 4 hours, so I just keep watching it. That's not my fault.
That's not your fault.
All of those are a don't miss for me. So.
Yep. Speaking of Muppets.
What have you watched?
Pizza movie night last week, we watched. Shoot, I just went blank.
I hate when you do that.
Yeah, this is why I stopped performing on stage.
We didn't watch Venom because we
tried to watch Venom, and it was on Hulu. But then when we got rid of our DirecTV, it was like, oh yeah, you guys don't have stars anymore, so we can.
What?
Yeah. So.
I don't understand how that relates to Hulu, but.
Because it sees that we have a subscription when it's tied together, when we're logged in or whatever.
Lame.
Yeah.
We watched Godzilla.
So. Godzilla. Yeah.
King of Monsters?
Yeah.
No, not the second one. She hadn't seen the first one yet.
This was my first Godzilla movie.
Oh, like ever?
I've probably seen like the old black and white ones when I was a kid, but no, this was my first like new series one.
Cool.
She did watch King Kong though, but I mean.
Oh yeah, Skull Island.
Yeah.
Was that one?
Skin. What? Anyways, they're the same universe, but they're like loosely connected.
And I like King Kong. Like I watched the one with Jack Black, and then this one.
The Peter Jackson one.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not the same one.
No, I'm
that's
saying I said
yeah.
and
Oh,
this
gotcha,
one.
gotcha,
I've liked all of the
Yeah.
King Kongs, and it's kind of the same
'Twas
type
beauty
of
that killed
thing.
the
So,
beast.
I enjoyed Godzilla. I would say that it was a don't miss. I liked the premise of
Yeah.
it. What's that guy's name? Oh, I can't remember it.
Breaking Bad guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love him. Love him.
I'm drawing a blank again.
It's
Knock
like
him in the middle.
It's got like a C in there in his name somewhere.
Oh snap! He was the dad, Malcolm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't unsee him in his tidy whities from both shows.
I was
It's just like his thing.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah,
Brian
I
Cranston.
told you I had a C in there.
Yeah.
I thought it started with a C, his last name. Yeah, so that was another
Yep.
don't miss.
And plus, of course, The Witcher 3. I'm still playing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm almost
And The
into the
Walking Dead.
third act, or I don't know if it's the second act or the third act, but I've investigated all 3 places where Siri is not. So
It was like 5 in the morning the other day, I think, and I woke up and I was like, you need to go to sleep soon. And he was like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm trying to get done with this.
literally, like, I was over encumbered, so you can't run, you have to walk, and so I fast travel to the castle to go to the blacksmith to sell off all my gear, right? Mm-hmm. And I walk in the door, and it starts a storyline, and I'm just like, what the hell? And it was another hour and a half, and I was like, because I can't stop.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I can't stop in the middle of it. I have to finish it. And it's like, oh,
Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah, let us know what you're into this week.
Yep. And Netflix did release a brief little online like social media clip teaser. It was like
For what?
10 seconds or whatever for The Witcher.
Oh.
So I'll be ready when it comes. It's coming soon.
I tried to start reading the books to see. I like to do that, read the books before the series comes out or a movie or whatever. And I couldn't keep reading it. It was like really,
Yeah.
like just thick to get through. It's one of those books that you
Oh,
have to
yeah.
like
Like Game of
really be
Thrones.
paying attention to read. There's character development, there's new characters all the time. And it just was, I'm not here for that. I'm here for a quick fun read, something I can read 14 times over.
Yeah.
It's what I
Sucky.
call a stew book. It's really thick and like it. Once you get
Chunky.
through it, you're like, man, I'm
Full.
good on reading books for a while.
That's clever. I'm going to start
Oh,
calling
yeah.
them that. Stew books.
Yeah.
Stew flutes, please. From Parks and Rec.
I think you talking about the end of the world guy that makes the flutes?
No,
Okay.
that's Ron that makes the flutes for the
He makes them
Zorp
for that, right? For the
Yeah.
Zorp people.
followers. Yeah. Long live Zorp. Yeah. No, he
How are we even
is a food
how
truck
are we even
that
have anything to
sells
talk about
stew.
anymore?
Yeah, it's a food truck that sells stew.
This is
and
your doing.
It's like a congratulations thing because it decides to stay where he's at, and they're like, he buzzes his assistant and says, whatever her name is, I think Candace or something, stew flutes, please. And she like instantly walks in with these stew flutes. And it's like champagne flutes with stew in it.
Oh,
and Leslie
flute.
drinks it and
remember
is like,
this.
oh, that's hot.
Is it fluke or flute?
Flute. It's a
Like
champagne
a
flute.
Okay.
I
Got you.
remember this.
Not a Ron Burgundy jazz flute or a
Okay.
Ron.
Whoa.
Or a Ron.
What is a jazz flute?
What?
And he plays the saxophone.
He
Other-
plays
He
jazz flute. Thank you
other-
very
No,
much.
he does not.
Not Ron
He-
from Parks.
Ron Burgundy.
Ron
Oh, Burgundy. I thought
Burgundy.
you said Swanson. We're
No.
talking about Parks and Rec. I was like, excuse
No,
me?
I was
Why
about
would
to make
you ruin everything?
two Ron flute crossover references, and you spoiled it. Moving on. I was flexing my nerd.
You were
muscle.
confusing us all.
My bad. Anyways,
Oh, it's time for the #1 movie of the week, which is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which has, it's PG-13. No, it's just PG. It's just PG?
yeah, it is.
What? Okay.
Well, I guess because it's got the name Evil in the title, and they're like, whoa. This is a kid's movie.
Like,
Don't get confused.
okay. All right. Cool. Whatever. The critic score for it, though, in Rotten Tomatoes is 41%, and the audience score is currently at 95%, which I've seen the first one, and I was like, oh, this is really cute. And not really. This is really sad. Have y'all seen the first Maleficent?
Oh, yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was. And this one, I'm like, I guess she's going full Maleficent.
Yeah. I want to see more, but I'm curious, like, where can they go with their,
It's a whole different storytelling over here.
Apparently, a lot of people felt the same way because it debuted lower than Dumbo.
Cool.
So, but it's still the number one of the week. It, like, skirted by. It was, like, really, really close with Zombieland 2. But Joker is still, like, the number 2 for the week.
Oh, yeah.
So, apparently, it even beat Zombieland 2. So
Zombieland 2 still gonna
we might be
But
seeing
you
a
also
$1 billion
think, like,
Joker movie here coming up. It's already the number one. It's on track to become the number 1 R-rated movie.
Wow. It's crazy.
Anyways, sorry. You were about to say
I never.
something. Like Quin.
No. What did he do? He tased him. He tased Beaker. I don't know why he tased Beaker Honeydew. That was like the second episode.
He always chases. Like, Beaker gets all the experiments happening to him.
He does.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Muppet Babies? The cartoon?
Yeah.
Not the new fangled CG monstrous.
Oh, the
thing.
old one? Yeah, I used to
Old
watch.
school. Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah.
Muppet Babies. Make our dreams come true. Anyways.
We're going to have to pay for that.
No, we're not big enough. They'll never find this. By the time we're big enough to worry about it, it'll be buried in the
vault.
Yeah. The ashes and debris of the internet. The dust covered.
All right. So is it top 3 thing time now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Is this the one you want?
Well, here we go.
Might as well. Yeah. Let's do it.
Top 3 things for the week. Number 1. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. Crisis on Infinite Earths. This December, the Arrowverse and the DC... Well, it's not really the DCEU, it's just the Arrowverse. They are putting together their biggest crossover yet that's also going to culminate the finale of Arrow. So, if you don't know anything about Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's basically the Anti-Monitor coming to...
I've got an image of that if you want to see that.
Oh, yeah. They also released an image of the Anti-Monitor a couple weeks ago, actually, of what he's supposed to look like, his concept art, and yeah, that it is actually like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so happy.
Speaking of, if you guys need comic book cartoon character voices or anything, look Quin up. Like, go down in the thing and get hold of his social media stuff.
Yeah.
And let him do your voices.
I will, because I enjoy it. I get bored at home.
He's got toddlers to talk to.
Yeah, and Liam tries to like impersonate. Like, he tries to copy me when I do it. Like, I was doing a Batman. I was like, Liam, go to your room. And he's like, no. So that happens all the time.
My favorite one, the Bat Dad, is like, tables are for glasses, not for asses. Get off the table.
Yeah. I do a lot of things with him. Well, okay, we're back to Crisis, but this is what the Anti-Monitor is going to look like. He's going to try and basically just wipe out all existence using the anti-life equation, but also, oh, hey, new subscriber, hi. Thank you. Shout out.
Yeah, thanks for subscribing.
Yeah, right. But the Crisis is doing something that not even really Marvel has done. I mean, they have the MCU that has like the constant crossovers and like the interweaving universe, but this, for Crisis on Infinite Earths, they're not just interweaving the TV shows, which are Arrow, Flash, Batwoman, Legends of Tomorrow, and Black Lightning. They're also interweaving past TV shows like like Smallville, as well as Titans from the DC Universe TV show is going to be making an appearance, as well as they are bringing back. Oh yeah, there he is. Brandon Roth is going to be reprising his role as Superman, and what it's supposed to be for that is his Superman is what Christopher Reeve's Superman would have become, which I guess Christopher Reeve's Superman was on the storyline for Kingdom Come. But have y'all seen anything about Crisis?
She's trans.
Oh, okay.
No. You're on the wrong one. One more.
But
There you go.
But with Crisis looming, coming in
And we're
December,
back.
yep,
Sorry.
coming in December, they've had so the Arrow premiered this past week, and it's his season is going to be very short. It's actually going to end in December, but they're having him go basically to multiple different Earths, gathering items for the Monitor so that he can build something to face the Anti-Monitor. But
So there's the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. Okay.
every equal has an opposite. Which the Anti-Monitor, he is basically
Isaac Newton stole that from whoever.
the Anti-Monitor is the guardian of the anti-life equation, which if anyone reads comic books, you know the anti-life equation is what Darkseid is like always constantly going after.
DC Comics, by the way.
Yeah. Constantly going after.
He's got
like,
such a shorthand with comics. We have to make sure that intro people know what he's
which
talking
comics?
about.
Yeah. It's the anti-life equation is what Darkseid uses to like basically control everyone and put them under his thumb, so the universe is just basically his puppet.
Oh, hail Plankton.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's like eerily what that is. Oh man. Oh, okay. But from what it seems like so far in the show, Flash traveled to the future, and he ended up pulling some kind of Doctor Strange stuff, and he experienced over 1 billion different timelines.
Wow.
And only one where everybody made it, and he had to die for them to make it.
The Flash did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
But Oliver Queen...
I thought it would be... Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the Monitor came and got him after he retired from being the Arrow. He pulled him back. It's like, you have one last thing you have to do. And Oliver's like, well, okay, I guess so. It's like, you gotta die. So he's having them go around, get everything together, and it looks like their seasons aren't really gonna have main villains. It's gonna be like just some kind of hoo-hoo hurrah before Crisis.
Hoorah.
And so he knows that he's going to die?
Mm-hmm.
Flash does?
Flash does, and so does Oliver. But everybody around them, after they told them, they're still trying to figure out there has to be some other way that you can, not die. And so that's what the first half of Flash's season looks like, because it's supposed to go for its full 22, 24 episodes, but Arrow's only going to have, I think, 10.
Wow. So just to put this in perspective, like everybody hails the Marvel Universe, the MCU, for their huge connected crossover universe. It's never been done before. But this is not just on TV.
No.
Like you said, it's got references to Chris Reeves' Superman, which Brandon Routh was technically in Superman Returns, was technically the same Superman, and he's in this playing the same Superman. So it's connected to the movies. If a DC character has ever been on screen, whether it's Smallville, not just the Arrowverse, everything under the sun, DC on screen, they're referencing it. I'm talking about like even Adam West Batman.
Yes, they're actually having the actor who played, I can't remember his name. Ward's the last name.
Burt Ward.
Burt Ward is who played Robin back then, is going to be coming back, and in his timeline, Batman ended up dying, but he was such a symbol he didn't want to become Batman afterwards.
Rip Adam West.
As well as Kevin Conroy. I could not think of his
Yes.
name. Yes,
Animated. Oh,
he is going
that
to reprise a role as Bruce Wayne, but he's going to be old man Bruce Wayne. So he's gonna show up, and
Is it Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne?
I mean, that's what I'm like thinking. Like they haven't said anything, but yeah,
cool.
It was super cool. What else? Oh, also early on they said and like confirmed that they're gonna have some references to like the DCEU, like Henry Cavill Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa Aquaman, and other Flash. But they're not gonna. It would obviously pretty much like cost too much just to even have them show up. But they might have like
unless they wanted to do a favor and.
Unless they want to do a favor.
Yeah, it's like, I love this universe. Let me help out.
If it was like in their contract, you got to show up in this because they knew we were going to do it, I would be fine. He just could show up and do that the whole time. But yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's going to premiere, I believe, December 8th is going to be the first, and it's going to go, it's a 5-part series. 3 of the parts are going to be end in 2019, and then they're gonna finish in January.
Okay, so I have a question. So
yes.
they're setting this up through the other shows.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of the shows connected to this started already?
Yes. At first episode of Flash went to Earth 3. That's where he experienced the billion different timelines with Jay Garrett. Flash
On a CW TV budget, y'all.
Yeah. He experienced a billion different timelines thanks to Jay Garrett, who is actually his dad on his Earth, but since time was different.
That's a whole, like, Jay Garrett, like 90s Flash, like in the velvet suit. Like, come on, guys. Wow.
And then after that he went back.
Or no, I'm sorry. Jay Garrett is the old
Golden Age Flash.
But but the guy that played 90s Flash
is Jay Garrett.
Yeah.
And also in the crossover last year, he showed up as Barry Allen Flash, and he was from Earth 90, and he was in his 90s outfit. Because
that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they just want me to get all the feels.
Yeah, and he's not the only character or the only actor to play 2 characters in this, because Brandon Routh is also Adam.
Yep, he's
in the CW Arrowverse.
Yep, and he's doing
Legends
both
of Tomorrow
roles.
or whatever that is.
Legends of Tomorrow is just like their super fun show. That's the show that's like really chill.
Okay. like Batman and His Amazing Friends or whatever.
Kinda, because I mean, like they have Constantine on there, and they just be doing outlandish things, just fighting demons and dragons.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Right?
Ooh, I wish they'd bring the Keanu Constantine.
If they get Keanu Reeves to show up as Constantine, I'll be like, y'all doing too much, but thank you. What was
even the Constantine show was pretty good.
It was, but it was on NBC, and they said, we don't want this weird stuff here. Y'all can just have it back.
Yeah, and they were like, gimme.
They're like, cool, thank you. Here, go do this.
Hasn't that actor like cameoed as the same?
He's been Constantine. Anytime they need a live action Constantine, it's been him since the show.
Sweet.
And anytime there's a animated Constantine, he voices the character.
Heck yeah, dude.
So he's just like, Constantine for life.
He's down, man.
Yeah.
He's like, I am Constantine.
Yes.
But
I'll go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, so it's going to end in January, but I'm pretty sure Arrow's show, if I remember right, is supposed to end in December, and the last 2 parts are going to be in 2020 for Crisis, which I don't know what that means, but they're bringing in a lot of people for this, having a lot of characters show up, and like it's going to be hopefully nothing short of awe-inspiring.
Yeah, and also this is Arrow's last season.
It is.
This is the show that kicked it all off. They're sending him out with a bang.
The biggest bang they possibly can. Like every Earth getting wiped out kind of bang if they fail.
That's pretty cool. Like, I mean, could you imagine just like you're playing an actor and it just like blows up like this, and then you get done and they're not pissed at you. They're like, you know what? We're going to send you off with the biggest crossover event in history.
On TV.
That is insane. Yeah. Not just on TV. I mean, it's on TV, but I mean, it's
crossing everything over.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's like the fact that they're bringing in stuff from like the DC streaming service and everywhere else, and like everything is all connected, and it's just like this is it. This is the big one.
Mm-hmm. Animated, film, everything. Man. Everything. That is super cool.
And I'm really
excited. A nerd paradise.
It is. And it's like the biggest payoff, even more than like the MCU. I've been watching all these shows for the past like 8, almost 9 years, and thanks That's all I can say.
Yeah, I did see that they're looking at there is going to be an Arrow spinoff.
There is Green Arrow and the Canaries,
Yeah.
which they've been. Last season they started it where it's like in 2040 with his daughter and all of the current heroes' kids. They're all like adult age, just kind of going through and trying to bring the city back up because it's like basically a slum town.
Oh. So if you're not a DC person and you know Marvel, Green Arrow is basically Hawkeye, but cooler.
Yes.
And his daughter's kind of like the Kate Bishop of the situation.
Yep. And then he has a son as well, and his son's basically his wife because he's the techie one, and his daughter's
basically his wife.
Because his wife in the show was the one that was like doing all the. She was
She's the guy in the chair.
Person
in the chair. Excuse me.
But now he's the guy in the chair, or person in the chair. Yep.
Got you.
All right. Well, that's all
Anything
I got
else?
for that.
Yeah. If you have anything else you want to talk about, hit Quin up on Instagram or Broken Pictures on Instagram or Twitter. Well, not on Twitter because they shut our Twitter down. So I think I'm gonna make a video about that because it's ridiculous. Anyways, chat with us about other stuff. Hit us up in the comments below. We'll be glad to talk to you and get the conversation going.
You can't see my hand. There you go. Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You hit me up with a
number 2.
Bum, 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 bum. Sorry. I was trying to do a big John
You sound
Williams.
like Kermit trying to do it.
Hey guys. So anyway, if I wrote, I'm just going to read what I wrote because I thought it was pretty awesome. If you've lived on planet Earth for the past near half century, you're probably aware of Star Wars. The humble Skywalkers are back. They started it all, and they're about to sing their swan song. Lucasfilm claims Rise of Skywalker is the last film in the Skywalker saga, and the last trailer dropped last night. So we're going to discuss it. I've got a couple images that I just want to bring up. The posters, both posters. So we got at D23, we got this weird looking one that kind of looks like it's from Clone Wars or whatever, and maybe that was just a promo art or whatever, but I thought it was pretty weird. It's like animated. I don't know if that was significant that it looked like Clone Wars or whatever.
The one on the left?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it looks just like you got the light on the left side and the dark on the right side because it's just dark as red, and they're just clashing, and that's what it means.
Yeah, but even the Emperor in the overarching.
Oh snap! I don't have glasses on, so I didn't see that beforehand.
Have you not seen this image?
I have.
Okay.
I just never saw that until now.
Oh, yeah, but he's super cartoon. It looks just like Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever. But anyway, we got I'm pointing in the wrong direction. We got a legit poster last night, as well as tickets went on sale for the Rise of Skywalker. And this I just want to say this poster looks dope. Looks really sick. I like to do posters. I'm a graphic designer, and I really enjoy this poster in this style. It's a callback to the originals, and I'm in love with it.
Yep.
Speaking of, I do want to say just briefly from the last trailer, we did get a glimpse of. Remember in the last one, Kylo Ren smashed his helmet, and in the last trailer, we saw that somebody was putting it back together for him, and you can see these red lines that are kind of like highlighted where the cracks are, and it's based on. Well, there was a theory. Somebody put a theory out saying, "Hey, it's kintsugi. It's the Japanese art of molding broken things together in gold." And J.J. Abrams confirmed it, but the idea behind it is that it's beautiful in the broken places, right? And so that I just wanted to say, it feels like just hey, shout out, because Broken Pictures, that is the idea behind Broken Pictures, and which is kind of like what we do, and this is a show presented by Broken Pictures. But yeah, these are just the designs, and I'm just showing you that I kind of the original idea behind it with the gold and interlaid in the cracks and everything. But let's go to will you go? Let's see. Go back to the images. Excuse me. Go down to Leia. So Carrie Fisher's birthday was yesterday, or the day before, I believe. And so this image hit us in the feels, and I think this trailer it hit all the high points as far as like just making us remember what came and what went before, and just this image is just like, I think nails how we all felt about it's Leia. Yeah. So she will be in this one. She will not be computer generated. They're using old footage, and
kind of curious how they're gonna send her out, or if she's gonna be sent out.
So I felt like even though there kind of seemed like maybe there was training in the first clip of the new episode.
The 3-1 if you're gonna talk. No, down. Sorry, Lydia's doing the screen,
and he
she's
always tells
figuring
me
it
in
out.
the middle of my sentence. It's like, just hold on.
Yeah. Well, I used to do this for a church, like while the preacher was talking and stuff. And so to me, it's like second nature. So I forget to tell her.
It's like second nature, but you wasn't doing it because it's hard to talk and do it.
Yeah, it's hard to talk and do it. So she volunteered. So I'm not trying to give her a hard time or anything, but you're doing a good job, babe.
Thanks. All I was going to say is real quick is whenever she's running on the planet with this new trailer that we have, we would like to think that it's training or something along those lines, but it looks very similar to the background where Carrie Fisher is giving her the hug. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they're training. Listen.
Sorry.
They're training there. Leia's the one training her, and then the planet gets invaded and Leia gets killed.
Maybe.
Because it would be the first scene, the first heartbreak. It would cause Rey to kind of go into this turmoil, and it would be a good way to kind of sign Carrie Fisher off.
Man. I just figured out how
and it would awaken something in Rey.
They just, you saying that just like made me put a few scenes together. So that happens. There's training. Then the First Order or Palpatine's troops find them. The Knights of Ren are there. They come in. Leia's like, "You go. I'll fight them." And then she pulls out a lightsaber. She fights them. They overpower her. Then Kylo Ren shows up, and he's like, "What have you done?" And he wipes them all out because they just killed his mom. And then he's like, then he tries to contact Rey, and then that's okay. Cool.
That's a good point. I like that. I like that.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because we did see in the last trailer him, quote unquote, mowing down the Knights of Ren.
He was mowing them down.
And then they changed that verbiage on the website. No. Plot point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the trailer had a lot of it in it.
Yeah. So let's just go through and show these screenshots real quick, and then we'll talk about them. How's
Is
that?
this from the new trailer?
This is from the new trailer.
I feel like I didn't remember this.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to watch the new trailer 100 times to ever remember anything.
Yeah. So we're just gonna show the images real quick. So this is on the Death Star, the old Death Star that crashed.
The second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is them. Looks like smashing Vader's helmet on a stand.
But together.
Together, yeah, which is a big deal. All right. We'll talk about it in a second. We'll come back to it. I want to get you guys on screen while you're talking. And this is the moment we see actual Palpatine in bodily form. Well, of course, we're not seeing his face, but some of the leaks are saying that he's kind of like on an arm, like outreaching, kind of like that. But yeah, so she's facing Palpatine there. And yep. So let's go ahead and surmise like where we think it's going.
I love how you got to say something about the last one you was talking about.
My bad.
They're saying he's on an arm. Because now I don't remember what I was saying.
I'm sorry. When they were looking at it, I wanted to like put that mental image in there.
Well, I'm gonna have to go back to him because I don't remember him.
Okay, we can look at them on our preview screen.
Yeah, I ain't gonna transition it.
So for just from the gist of the storyline, it looks like something happens that causes Raylo to, shipping not everybody's favorite ship, not the Millennium Falcon, but Raylo, Kylo Ren and Ren. Kylo Ren and Rey.
Kylo Ren and Ren.
Ren and Stimpy. Anyways, half of my dad jokes, that's the response I get, so I'm used to it.
I'm just listening.
Yeah, so anyways, something causes them to have to work together, and it looks like it has to do with the Emperor coming out of the outer regions, and there's a bigger bad, and they got to join together, and they go. And then if you remember, if you remember in Return of the Jedi, they were on Endor, right? And then they busted the satellite, and then they were able to destroy the Death Star, and it like fell out of space, which is whatever. But anyway, so apparently these images we're seeing of the crashed Death Star is like the planet that it crashed on. And it seems like the Emperor was thrown down that shaft by Vader, but he didn't die. Or he did die, and somehow he is reliving as a Force presence in Vader's helmet as an artifact. Or it's a clone, or something to that effect. Because we've talked about it before. Like, the Emperor always has a... contingency plan. And they've explored this a little bit in the video game. Which was at Battlefront 2.
He had after the Death Star was taken down, because I thought it would just blew up in Episode 6. They
got some pretty sweet images of them looking out over the sea and seeing the wreckage and stuff.
That was really cool. But yeah, he ended up having a plan for the Empire to thrive even after he was gone. And it was basically he knew it was going to be Luke that was going to be the one behind it. So it was like, find Luke, kill him, the Empire will be fine, was the gist of his message. So, but even still, in the comics, Dark Empire, he had thousands of clones of himself, and he learned how to throw his soul out of his body into one of the clones.
Yeah. Kind of like Voldemort.
Yeah, but worse.
Yeah. So to be clear, in the Star Wars universe, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, he's going to come back as a Force ghost." In the Star Wars universe, it's very similar to kind of like I want to say like Lord of the Rings, which is a whole different fantasy genre, whatever. But in the fact that good guys are pure and spirit and light, and bad guys are evil and dark and mixed with machine and unnatural.
Yep.
So that's why we're seeing the Emperor is like, if he's still alive, he is somehow, just like Vader, he's somehow mixed with the machine and out on this arm or whatever, and extending his life by unnatural means. And that's like Sith lords or whatever can attach their spirits to an artifact or something, but they don't get to come back as like a pure energy blue Force ghost.
They come out something that's not demonic, but something that's just evil.
Basically, yeah.
There was real quick
in that universe,
dipping into some deep
the
stuff,
lore.
kinda. There was a Sith Lord, his name was Darth Anamis, and he was alive, he had died a lot. His body would have been burned, he was blind in one eye. It looked like his body was just cracked pieces of flesh that dried up, but he was only alive and kept coming back because he hated everything so much. His hatred kept bringing him back.
Right, which is where Siths get their power from.
Yeah.
So it's like love versus hate, right?
Yeah, and like the way he died, he fell in love with someone, and like the second he realized he loved her, he died, and then he's like, "Whoa, stop! Nope, I hate this."
You died.
And he came back. So it's like it's really sad.
Wow, he's slipping.
Yeah. So I mean, there's many ways for Palpatine.
It's like the Star Wars version of caught feelings.
Catch feelings, you die. But there are many ways for Palpatine to come back. Him being in Vader's helmet would make a lot more. It would be an easy way to do it. It would make sense since we know that at the end of Last Jedi, Anakin became a Force ghost. Mm-hmm. He turned back to the light. So who Kylo Ren's actually hearing?
Yeah.
And that would explain that.
Yeah. The image where they're breaking the helmet. That could be breaking Palpatine's tie to the real world or whatever. Yeah. If they destroy that helmet. But at the same time, I mean, if Kylo has reforged his helmet, that could potentially be a Sith artifact too.
Yeah. Is he a Sith though?
He hasn't been, because remember at the end of Force Awakens, what's his face? The
Supreme Leader Snoke?
Snoke called him to come finish his training. So he's the master of the Knights of Ren, but he's not necessarily a Sith yet. Yeah. Kind of like Dooku, to where, like he wasn't, like, there's the rule of two, and there's always two Siths, one master, one apprentice. Yeah. Like, but then we found out, there's Dooku out there, and then there's a bunch, Ventress and all these other ones that aren't, Sith. They're not exactly Sith yet, but they're like Sith followers trying to attain that level.
Yeah, they're
type thing.
Dark side users.
Yeah.
Because Dooku had all the powers of a Sith. He just wasn't. He just didn't have the eyes.
He wasn't anointed Sith yet.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all going too deep.
Yeah. Dipping in some prequel territory.
But yeah, like it had all the Star Destroyers, like had the one just like looked like it was busting up out of the ground.
Oh, that was so sweet. Like we've never seen these huge ships take off from the ground before. We've always just seen them in space.
Yep. And it was a sight to see. And then there looked like there was an armada of them. Then they were riding horses on one. Then I was like, I don't know what's happening anymore. But
it feels awesome because we get like this big amped up version of the regular Star Wars, song, John Williams score. And and then right in the middle of it, C-3PO is like, "What are you doing, C-3PO?"
I have an idea about that.
Okay.
So there's some leaks. I want to see what.
My idea is that whenever he's like, "I'm just looking at my friends one more time," is because they're about to reprogram him to infiltrate or be a spy or something like that, and he knows that he's not going to recognize them as friends.
And that's why his eyes are
and that's why he specifically has a dramatic pause before he says, "I'm looking at my friends." He dramatic pauses, says "my friends" or whatever, and then we get red-eyed 3PO. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. So there's a leak out there, and of course, take this with a grain of salt, but it seems to be confirmed by the trailer that 3PO has his mind wiped, and that's why he's not going to remember. And if you remember at the end of the prequels, they did get their minds wiped. That's why they didn't remember the prequels, because they've been there the whole time, And apparently even Obi-Wan Kenobi had his mind wiped too. I don't remember ever owning a droid. But anyways.
Or he just was like, I'm going to pretend like I didn't.
Yeah, from a certain point of view. So anyways, that scene, that could be very on point about like him getting his mind wiped, or maybe him sacrificing himself to further some plan to infiltrate or whatever, because we're dealing with, of course, at the end of The Last Jedi, we've got just a handful of rebels left because the First Order almost wiped them out.
Yep.
Because they were in this slow chase the whole time or whatever.
Boy, howdy.
Because everybody forgot what,
Because no one wanted to tell them the plan. All they had to do was just tell them the plan.
Yeah.
All they had to do.
Yeah. So and everybody forgot that big ships go faster than little ships, or
Okay.
dry. Anyways, light speed or whatever. Warp. I'm sorry, I'm getting my fandoms mixed up. Warp speed. I forgot what they call it in Star Wars.
Hyperdrive.
Yeah, the hyperdrive.
I think it's. Oh man, you made me forget. I think it's light speed. I want to say it is. Jump to hyperspace.
Hyperspace. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, we're not going to criticize. We're going to move on. So, anyways, at the end of that one, we're left with just a handful of rebels. Some key figures, and of course the main characters with the plot armor, and then we get, except for Luke, and then we've got the First Order galvanizing with a power play between Hux and Kylo, trying to vie for leader, and it looks like Kylo's kind of put Hux in his place, and he's taken over. And now, out of the blue, Palpatine shows up, and he's like, haha, I've been here the whole time. You didn't know, but I'm pulling the strings. Seems like.
Yeah. Hux is going to die.
Think so?
Because that...
Hux is the red-haired guy?
Yeah, he died in Harry Potter, too.
I think...
Oh, that's all you had to say. Now I know who you're talking about.
Hux is going to be the one to send them to the planet. To try to capture Leia and
you think so?
Rey, yeah, and then Kylo Ren's gonna find out,
and that's why he kills him.
Yeah,
and he's like, "You killed my mom. You're dead to me."
Kill them all. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm totally.
He
down
just
for...
like Thor punches the ground and kills everybody.
Do you think? So Kylo, if Kylo's got command of the first, well, I think. If Kylo has command of the First Order, when Palpatine shows up, he's going to lose it.
Yeah, most definitely. And
that's why the Knights of Ren and everybody he's fighting them, and he's having to join up with Rey because it's the greater good or whatever. But I also think that it could be a situation where, like in the throne room with Snoke, where he was just using that to his own advantage. To try to, we can do it together, But,
we'll see. I mean, that's the final trailer. We got a few months left.
This is the very, 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 very last Skywalker Saga trailer we will ever get.
Until they release the one next week.
Yeah. What did they do? What was it? I think it was Avengers Endgame. They were like, final trailer, and then like 3 more teasers came.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay.
But, yeah.
Okay, guys.
So yeah, I mean, I just can't believe just the feels of that. This is very reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, obviously, because we're on a Endor like planet, and we're going back to a sand planet, and
weird animals.
Yeah,
or
and
peoples. What would you call the Ewoks?
Peoples?
Peoples? I
don't know. Sentient animal? I don't know. Ewoks.
I have a thing for later evolving this. Just remind me Ewoks. Okay, let's, yeah.
Yeah, if you never saw the Ewok spin-off movies, they were actually pretty decent. I used to have those. They were fun. Yeah. So, and the cartoons. I love the Ewoks because I was a kid. Anyways, just the fact that like the first one came out in 1977, and we are like over 40 years ago. This has been a thing.
Well,
like
an era is ending.
Yeah, that's insane. Like almost half a century of Star Wars.
Man,
it's just it's
Granted,
a lot to take in.
there were some thick gaps in there, but
Super
that only
thick.
built the suspense. And it waited for perfect timing, waiting for like my generation to be able to go to the movies with their kids and things like that, and like relive that nostalgia.
Yeah, and even if this movie sucks balls, the nostalgia is going to bring people to the theater. This is going to be $1 billion movie, like easy.
It's going to probably make me cry one tear.
Yeah.
Like I think even if people are mad about the last one, they're gonna watch it because it's the last one.
Yeah, I'm the first watch is just for nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to watch it again. It's like, okay, well, what kind of movie is this? So, yeah, I mean, rewatches and, yeah. And just even watching some of these breakdowns and stuff, like, I'm a Star Wars nerd, but, of course, you have seen all the animated stuff. You read the comics. So you know way more than I do. And I've talked to some people, like, you know, like naming their children after Star Wars characters, and you know what I mean?
That's a little unfair. I know people with kids named Luke. That's a pretty common name. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That's funny. So, yeah, I didn't know he was a biblical character either. So, but yeah, just watching these breakdowns, like, not realizing some of these callbacks, just like the imagery and the design aspects being callbacks to, like, oh, okay, well, I was watching Emergency Awesome, and he was talking about how, oh, this panel is the same one that Obi-Wan used in A New Hope for this. I was like, good God. And, oh, can you put up one image? I had a question. Can you put up...
Hold on.
So the image, while she's working on it, the image where they're both breaking what looks to be Vader's helmet on a platform together, in the white room, there it is. In the background, you can see, and some of the design aspects right here are very, very reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, where they're like on the Death Star, Cloud City, that type of thing.
That's what I first thought when I was looking. I was like, why are they?
Yeah,
in
because
Cloud
Lando,
City?
right? Lando's back in this one.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention that. And he's driving the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
So who owns the Millennium Falcon?
Ray.
Him, Ray, Chewie?
I think it's just like
it's a toss-up.
whoever's driving, that's who owns it.
It's a group car.
Yeah. So in the background, I can barely see it from here, but you can see like the light patterns that kind of like go up the wall, and like up the wall, and they're like long, and then there's dots. Like I'm like this. So this trailer didn't really reveal anything new. It just kind of like got us hype for the movie to come out, which comes out in Christmas, and you can get your tickets now if they're not sold out where you live. But I'm wondering if maybe this is like Morse code, like teaser thing that nobody's catching. So if you know Morse code, check that out and see if that's actually something. I was just curious about that. But yeah, so
There wouldn't be enough to make a sentence.
Well, maybe just a word or something, like a reference to something. You know what I mean?
It'd be funny if it spells hope.
That would be cool.
Yeah. That made me think of something else. I don't know if they still have this in canon in the Star Wars universe or not, but super possibility they could be on Camino. But in other things, Camino was taken out by the Empire because they didn't want any more clones. But if it's not canon and Camino's still a thing, they could have been on Camino.
Yeah, because that place looks drastically different than anything we've seen.
Well, all of the planets are new planets. Like, they have established that everywhere that we're seeing is somewhere that none of the movies have been.
Yeah, because even like the forest planet we see her training on, it looks like Endor because Endor is close to where the thing crashed, the Death Star crashed. But yeah, it's obviously not Endor. Oh, we just lost a light or two lights. Oh no!
And the ice planet that they're on is Kimji, is what it said.
Huh.
So.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
So yeah, we're deep diving a little bit, but yep. So no big reveals in this necessarily, but I mean, like Dark Ray from the teaser from last D23. So we're still left to speculate about that. But so moving on, number 3. If you want to hit me with that movie voice, sir.
Number 3.
Batman. I am Batman. Anyway, that was bad. That was really bad. Anyways, Robert Pattinson is the new Batman, as we all know.
I wish I could see my face right now. It's full of disgust.
So, I mean, we had Batfleck. Now we've got Pattinson. So,
Oh, that's why you said Battinson. Oh,
yeah, not Pattinson. You just flipped the P over in his B. So anyway, we got some Batman movie news. We got some new casting information. Excuse me. You can go ahead and put up Matt Reeves. That is the director. You guys know him from Planet of the Apes, that series. He's a very well-established director, very talented director. I'm just going to go through these real quick, and then we can start our discussion. Excuse me. So, so far, it looks like we're going to be based... The story's going to be based on The Long Halloween.
Which is after Batman 1, which was the first, that other image.
No, the first image was from that too. But also potentially loosely based on Chinatown. Like they have the same type of elements. And that is like a classic noir movie where Jack Nicholson plays a detective. And Matt Reeves kind of confirmed that he was watching this as he was writing it, kind of thing, as like an influence. So he confirmed that on Twitter. So let's go through the castings real quick. New casting, we got Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. We got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman Selena Kyle. And we got Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Riddle me this.
Yes.
That's
and
it.
That looks like it. So you can go ahead and go to all of us.
Why don't you just keep talking?
So, sorry. Excuse me, because I had to do that. So, have you read The Long Halloween?
I haven't read The Long Halloween. I've seen I've come across some things and references to it, and even the last Batman game that was made by Rocksteady was based off The Long Halloween.
In the Arkham series?
Mm-hmm, Arkham Knight was based off Long Halloween.
Okay, so it looks like there, just to recap, there were several people in the running for Batman, and he settled on Robert Pattinson, and everybody was kind of like, oh, sparkly, shiny Batman. Not really into that, except some people have seen Robert Pattinson's work since Twilight and know that he is an excellent, talented actor, and he could pull this off for sure. Excuse me. And he's got the Batman chin.
Yep.
He
that jawline.
invented the Batman chin when it comes to the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
He got a 10 o'clock in the morning shadow.
Like this dude, like going through images to find like a good, like serious looking one. Like there are photos where he's like looking up and still got like a big sharp jawline. I'm just like, I hate you. Anyways, so. Okay. So what Matt Reeves is saying. So okay. Going back a little bit further. Originally, this movie was going to be part of the DCEU, and we were going to have.
Sorry, I'm not sure. I'm watching our video currently, and I just opened YouTube, and I wasn't trying to do that.
So and then Ben Affleck was going to write, direct, and star in the movie. And then he backed out of writing and directing, and Matt Reeves stepped in, and then he backed out of starring. And basically, from what he said, that they just couldn't come down on the right story. But it seems like Matt Reeves has had this in his back pocket. Like he's been wanting to do this, so he's the right guy for this. He knows what he wants. Like you always yield to a man with a vision, because you're just going to get in there and fumble it up. So I can't fault Ben Affleck for bowing
out.
Yeah, for bowing out. So his vision for this Batman is to focus more on the noir detective, like genius detective side of Batman that we've only seen like glimpses of in other Batman movies. We've seen like Billionaire Playboy, the toys, and all that kind of stuff. Warrior.
I did it again.
There's an echo in here.
The training Batman, the gritty, the
Swear to me. So.
Why were the other drugs going?
So, no matter where you fall on Batman, there has been an incarnation of Batman since the 40s on screen. Yes, 1940s, when Batman invented the comic book superhero genre. 1943, there was a serial with Batman, and then Batman and Robin. And then we got the Adam West Batman, and through the ages. So, no matter how you feel about Batman, there's one out there for you, whether animated or Lego or whatever you like.
Lego Batman.
Yeah, let Pattinson have his shot at it. We'll see how he does. And you ain't got to like it. I wasn't a huge... I like Ben Affleck, but I wasn't a huge fan of his Batman. Although, I'm starting... I do like the fact that some of these characters have been around long enough that we're starting to follow more
direct,
exploratory versions of the character.
Okay.
You know, so I have to kind of sit back and go, okay, well, this is that different type of Batman. This is a different version of Batman. Just like in the comics, I mean, of course, you've got the main character, and then they start branching out on tangents and exploring different versions of the character because the character's been around for so long.
Like
now we're doing that in film.
Like when Superman died and Superman Doomsday, and then after that had the reign of Superman, and there's like 5 different versions of Superman, and it's like that. It's just Batman, but different.
Yeah.
In a way we haven't seen him in live action.
I'm trying to find the one where we talked about Batman casting. Or the old video where we talked about who they were casting for this Batman. We've been talking about it for forever.
Yeah.
Because I had opinions about Robert Pattinson doing it, and I want to see what I said about it because I don't like to contradict myself, and I probably ripped him a new one when we were talking about the casting for it. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying.
I remember what I said. I think I'll give him a chance. I have to see what he can do first. He looks like he could wear the cowl, but
yeah, he's his build. He's gonna have to bulk up, but at the same time, this is supposed to be a younger Batman.
Yeah,
like even the Long Night Batman, he's still like at the beginning of his run as Batman.
Yeah,
and he's learning, and so basically, I think I was kind of harsh on Pattinson at first, but then after a while, I was like, okay, and then it happened. He was like confirmed. And I sat back, and then I started looking at the reports, and then realizing, okay, this guy's got some chops, and if he bulked up a little bit, like he could definitely do it.
Just curious what he's gonna sound like. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, he can do an American accent. I mean, he did it in Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did a Maine accent for The Lighthouse, which is crazy.
What they have an accent with it?
Yeah, they're very New England sounding. Like hardcore New England. Like you think Boston is harsh? Like you like follow that up north.
It's like keep going up, it gets worse.
Yeah, I mean like holding his own with people like Willem Dafoe.
Oh, okay.
So I mean Willem Dafoe is like he can do anything he wants to.
I wanted Willem Dafoe to be Joker so bad.
Anyways, yeah, we got to wrap this up. So I gotta be quick. But it's already 11:12, and our lights are going out. I don't know what the heck, man. So yeah, they're supposed to last a lot longer. Anyways, I'm sorry. Random thoughts in my head, all out at once. The Long Night. The storyline, from what I gather, if you guys have read The Long Night, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but there is a string of murders happening, and they're happening on holidays.
And just to clarify, we're talking about KNIGHT, not The Long Night, Game of Thrones, NIH.
Yeah, the Long Halloween. I'm sorry, not the Long Night.
Okay, you were saying The Long Night. I was like,
I'm getting confused.
Is it K with an...
It's The Long Halloween.
Yes, okay.
So yeah, these murders are happening on holidays. So Batman goes to Arkham and confronts Calendar Man, who is like a B villain in his rogues gallery.
And it's a super gimmicky thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so he does things like, you know, on holidays and, you know, and strings people along, whatever. So Batman's confronting him and he's like, hey, what do you know about these holidays? Boom, 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 boom. And of course, you know, pressing him, you know, we rough Batman and all this kind of stuff. And remind me to bring up later the Batman Kills thing.
Okay.
Because that's a thing going around right now. So he's confronting Calendar Man and finds out that this runs much, much deeper. And so we're seeing casting for several villains, and this got some people nervous. But at first, I was kind of nervous because I was just like, oh, great. We're going to have too many people and not enough character development, blah, blah, blah. But with you look at this lineup of stars, this talent, like we're talking about, like they're casting talent. They're not casting names. So much, in fact, that Jonah Hill, who is super talented, you know, I mean, he's not just the
Fat friend.
super bad kid anymore. Was looking at the role of either it wasn't confirmed whether it was the Riddler or the Penguin. You know, at first you would say, okay, the Penguin because Jonah Hill, but Jonah Hill has got the chops and he's dropped the weight. He could do Riddler hardcore, and it would be a very interesting take on it. But apparently they didn't want to back the money truck up to Jonah Hill's house and pay him more than Pattinson, so he bowed out.
Okay.
And then there was rumors that Seth Rogen was being looked at for Penguin. That was a hard. Usually I can do that. Yeah, that was bad. I'm gonna stop. Usually I can do the laugh on cue, but I messed it up. Somebody did the Joker movie in that part where he's coming around the corner from the trailer, put his laugh in there, and said, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So. But for whatever reason, that didn't work out. Seth Rogen is no longer attached or being looked at for that. And then, so rumors are potentially that looked bad because they missed on two big names or whatever. So then they got Paul Dano. Paul Dano. If you've never seen Prisoners or There Will Be Blood, go watch those movies right now. Turn us off. Go watch those movies. They're lovely and disturbing at the same time. And Paul Dano will blow your mind. Okay. He is super talented and super creepy and sleek, slimy, and he's a great bad guy. Like
Penguin.
He's the Riddler.
He's the Riddler?
He is the Riddler.
The skinny kid.
Yeah. Remember the preacher? Did you watch There Will Be Blood? The preacher kid.
Oh.
He's also from Little Miss Sunshine.
I remember
if
him
you're
from
into
when he was like a little itty bitty kid. Yeah.
I mean, he's not very
Love
old.
and Mercy too is like a rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I never saw that one.
12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Super talented guy.
Man.
So he has that look and demeanor that there's something going on behind that face. Like the way he carries himself, and it's just like, I can't wait to see what kind of creepy, messed up Riddler we're gonna get. Because this is supposed to be like dark Batman, and like the long Halloween. Like this Batman is like super long, pointy ears, and like neo-noir, like dark, gritty. Like I don't mean the same type of gritty as the Nolan Batman. I mean like
it's gonna be looking like some Sin City type of stuff.
Maybe. But very, very connected, very realism connected type Batman.
Yeah.
Not gonna get any fantasy crazy stuff. Probably like if I had to guess, from what I've seen, probably very, very close in tone to the Joker movie.
Right.
Which we can get into. Quin's falling off the screen here. we can get into that later, whether we think that's connected or not, or what the reports are saying. But so he is looking into it, and of course we've got the Riddler cast. We're getting reports of them looking for the Penguin, and we got cast Catwoman, and this is early in their career. Catwoman and Batman don't know who each other are yet. They haven't started dating, which if you know in the comics, like they almost got married, very close, almost. Yeah, she left him at the altar.
Yeah.
Y'all both sound so sad.
I was just like freaked out for a second.
But moving on.
So in this comic, we're probably gonna get Calendar Man, which is the first big screen adaptation with Calendar Man.
It was the funniest
But
thing.
it's probably gonna be like a legit, like, oh crap, like he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, hokey. Here's a calendar, Batman. I hope have a great day or whatever hokey.
Hold on, wait,
thing.
I got one.
So, anyways, like what's the other one? Year One, The Long Halloween are like the definitive Batman stories, right?
Yeah.
They're the darkest, like. So.
It's Batman coming up, and then Batman dealing with some really messed up stuff.
Yeah. So these are really, really closely tied to, like, the core of who Batman is. So that's what I love about it. So I'm sorry, I'm still going off topic here, but so even on so we're in Arkham, so we could potentially see anyone at this point. On the cover alone, we've got Two-Face and Joker. And potentially Scarecrow.
What do you mean on the cover?
On the cover of the comic.
Yeah. Of the Long Halloween.
So-
yeah, because he basically fights all of his rogues in that. I still haven't read it, but I know he fights basically all of his major rogues. And they're not really all working together. They're all kind of like doing separate things around the city. Mm-hmm. But he ends up fighting everyone, and it's
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at, is him, like, following trails, following clues, trying to figure things out. This is early in Batman's career, so it's probably not going to be heavily gadget based. You know what I mean? I think I don't remember where I heard it, but there was something to do with, like, early Batman when he was using I just lost the word. We just lost another light too. A grappling hook, and it jammed on him, and he fell. So this is like when he's still working out the kinks of being Batman, finding out what it means to be a genius level detective, and walking on the wrong things in the crime scene, and even Harvey Bullock. It's Harvey Bullock, right? Yeah. Is like the gristled old detective that's in the Nolan ones selling out stuff and taking money from folks.
I didn't like that part.
Very crooked.
Yeah.
But he's early in his career. He's still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Oh,
so
good for him.
Yeah. So, and I may be wrong about this. This is just what I'm gathering from looking stuff up about this, just kind of researching. So
be careful what you research out there, because I definitely thought I watched a teaser today that was definitely just a concept teaser, and it even said that. It said concept teaser on it, but it was really, really good. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. I watched this.
Yeah.
I was like, hey guys, is there an official trailer for this, just to confirm? And they're like, no. I was like, crap.
Yeah, and there's just some really good fan art out there.
Yeah.
Somebody made some really good Star Wars fan teasers, or not teasers, but somebody called them R-Bats instead of R-Pats. But anyway, this movie is coming out June 25th, 2021, in America. So, so we got Zoe Kravitz, we got Paul Dano, we've got Jeffrey Wright, and I just want to say, like, the race bending thing on this is a non-issue, because these, like, we've talked about this before, like when you're race bending just to what's it called, just to
do it.
Yeah, just to kind of like
Spark up controversy.
or shoot, I forget the word. There's a word for, like, to just do something to win points with a certain group or whatever.
Pandering.
Pandering. Yeah, that's the word. If you're doing it just to pander, people see right through that, and that kind of like is like, why? But anyways, with these, and then there's race bending, where it's like there's no doubt that person is that character. Like, I don't care what gender, what race they are, that person is that character. Like, they fit that character so well, and we've got that with Jeffrey Wright, and we've got that with Zoe Kravitz.
Yes. When I first heard that Zoe Kravitz was going to be Catwoman, I genuinely got excited.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've seen different versions of Catwoman, but any time, like, last
Michelle
Catwoman, last Catwoman I remember seeing, you know, it was Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, and it was kind of like it was a bit of a throwback Catwoman. I was like, I don't really want to see this, but I also don't want to see Halle Berry's Catwoman. So,
But when you talk about sexy Catwoman, Halle Berry.
I mean, yeah.
That's more like creepy. I don't know. That feels like role playing.
I feel like it's like but I feel like Zoe Kravitz has that sex appeal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And just the fact that she's a Kravitz, like, instantly she's cool. So, so I mean, and she kind of came on the scene, and I want to say she was like in Hunger Games, possibly.
Jeffrey Wright was.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright was definitely in Hunger Games.
He was.
Like,
She's from Fury Road.
yeah, she was in Mad Max. She was in several things, and she's also in Big Little Liars. And
It's Big Little Lies.
Big Little
but
Lies.
That's okay.
My bad. I'm
She was in Divergent, not Hunger Games.
Divergent. Yeah, I knew there was one of those YA movies. But anyway, she kind of showed up, and it was like, she's just Lenny Kravitz's daughter, but she has really like blown it out the box and shown that she is not Lenny Kravitz's daughter. She's her own person.
Yeah.
And just a little side note, she is Jason Momoa's stepdaughter, because he's married to her mom.
That's the weirdest.
So
when I found that, I was like, that's weird.
For like a split second, I was like, isn't that his wife? And I was like, no, that's his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh
But
so
I mean,
weird.
Lisa Bonet is ageless. So
She is Zoe Kravitz.
yeah. What was that superhero you were talking about a week or two ago? That just like he's the same person. He's lived through the ages, and he just say, "Oh, I'm Junior
Icon?
now."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's her.
She's female icon. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Zoe Kravitz is also the voice of Mary Jane in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh.
I did not know that.
Yep, it says it right here.
So yeah, super talented. I mean, it's great when you've got a legacy family who are actually talented and not just living off their family's name or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she has stepped up and actually done the work and is really showing that she has earned her place, and that's amazing. I love that. Jeffrey Wright is is Commissioner Gordon. That voice. Yeah. I mean, there's Morgan Freeman,
and the way he wears his glasses is already Commissioner Gordon.
I like how John Campea put it. He just has that look that's like, I'm smarter than you, and just the way.
And I'm gonna make you know it.
Yeah, and everything about him. If you've seen Westworld, if you've seen anything else he's in, even in Hunger Games, he was like the techie guy.
Yeah, he literally killed people by like trapping them and electrocuting them. Mm. Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Oh man, I cannot wait to see his incarnation of Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, he was a champion in Hunger Games because when he was in, they was all the champions coming back for a game.
Yeah,
from all the districts.
He was working with Philip Seymour Hoffman to kind of help her overthrow. So I don't know if he was an old champion or if he was.
It was I'm talking about from the second movie, because the second one was like, this Hunger Games, well, you have to have all the champions from all the districts show up.
I forgot Woody Harrelson was in that too.
Yeah. So yeah, but he was like a spy, kind of trying to help overthrow everybody. Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and man, this dude I can't say anything else. He's just got one of the best voices in Hollywood, one of the best talents in Hollywood right now.
This movie is starting to pull in some hitters.
Yeah.
And not even like big names, but like quality talent, like you were trying to make a point to earlier, is like, even though they lost some big names or whatever, like they have talented people involved in this movie.
Like they're taking this super seriously.
Yeah.
Like this is like indie Batman, like indie film Batman. Like it's just like where they're, you know what, story comes first. You know, we're not this is not a spectacle movie.
Yeah.
You know, like they're really pushing this.
Scorsese.
Yeah, and now Coppola, and I saw this morning some more other ones are coming out. It's like just stop. It's funny. It's funny that they keep naming Marvel, but they're not naming DC because Scorsese's got a little vested interest in, because he brought the Joker movie to. Anyways, speaking of the Joker movie, they're saying like, okay, Joaquin Phoenix typically does. Yeah, we need to wrap it up. Typically does not do sequels, but he said he can't stop thinking about this character, wants to do something else with the character.
Which is funny because a decade ago he was in talks to be Batman.
Was he?
Joaquin Phoenix was.
He also played Superboy when he was a kid.
And so
did.
like
I
I
remember
mean
that.
it's super ironic that he's playing the Joker.
Super cool. So as far as like timeline, he seems a little bit older to live in this universe as the Joker, unless they do like the older mastermind criminal lord Joker, crime lord Joker kind of, or he inspires another Joker or whatever. But they're saying on the surface that this is not connected, and that this Batman movie might not even be part of the greater DCEU, that it might be its own thing, kind of like how Joker is supposed to be its own thing. But they're still hardcore looking into how to continue the connected universe, because like right now, even Wonder Woman 84, they've kind of
Rebooted, revamped, reinitialized.
I'm losing my words this morning.
Supersized.
No, they've changed some stuff that happened in the last one.
Okay.
So that like her backstory of like disappearing for several years, and that was established in Batman v Superman. They've kind of like rehashed that, and they've changed it up a little bit. So they're kind of like going their own ways, and they're loosely connected maybe, and that could be the future of the DCEU. But it looks like with J.J. Abrams coming in, that they're looking to make their own MCU type thing. But this may or may not be connected to all that. So there might be two Batmans running simultaneously out there, which I would be fine with, except that it just kind of creates a problem when you think about, okay, well, how do you release them? It's like if one's doing better than the other,
and especially like for
competition.
People like me that are non-nerds, like you get to where they aren't running simultaneously, but then one throws in one thing that relates to the other, or people start connecting them unnecessarily, and you're like, crap, now I've got to watch both of them to even understand. And then I get confused about what happens in which movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big thing when you've got people who are casual viewers who, okay, which Batman is this?
But I can see how it would make sense, because Batman is not necessarily like a rated R character where like there are kids Batmans, and like you take your kids to see Batman, and
this could potentially
but if this
be
one
like
is unrelated, it's a more rated R one.
Yeah.
Especially even if it's related to the Joker one, where it is in a darker setting, in a darker Gotham, that's one that you wouldn't want to take your kids to. So I can see how they would want two different franchises.
Darker Gotham, scary.
Yeah.
They could just do like they're doing with the comics, DC Black Label, and just put it, DC Black Label, but movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Todd Phillips, director of Joker, is like before the Joker was even being finished being made, he was pushing to do a Black Label film universe. And they were just like, hold on, they didn't even think this movie's going to do well, so they just kind of like let it happen. but now it's becoming like their biggest property right now.
Yeah.
And so that might kind of put a kink in the rest of the way everything else goes, because Warner Brothers and DC movies or whatever in the past have been very reactive and not proactive, which is the difference between them and Marvel, because Marvel is extremely proactive to a fault sometimes. And so even looking back to the Christopher Nolan Batman, where it took him several years between movies to make each one, during that time the MCU was kicking up and getting started, and that really put them behind because they were invested in this solo thing, and they didn't think they needed anything else. So, and then right on the heels of that, of course, they started Man of Steel, and it was like, oh, is this connected? It's not connected. You know, Christian Bale's coming back. He's not coming back. So
all they had to do was just say one freaking thing to connect them. Ask Christian Bale to come back. That's a whole nother thing. I don't want to get on that. But yeah, and I can understand. Like, it took them so long, but we knew at some point in time Batman was gonna end. We didn't know if Christopher Nolan, he didn't want to do all this extra stuff. He just wanted to make his good Batmans. But the the MCU, they were like, yeah, we're gonna make this, but he's gonna show up in this, and then this is gonna do this, and now Avengers. And then DC, for whatever reason, wasn't thinking
Justice League.
Yeah, they didn't think it would work, because the Justice League, like any iteration of their original 7, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, or if you switch them out, Cyborg, Hawkman, or Aquaman, whichever. They all have like kind of ridiculous superpowers, and at the time, I think the concept of how much it would cost to bring that to the screen for all of them to be there was something they didn't think was possible.
Yeah. Plus, they probably didn't think that the more outlandish superheroes would really make any money, which of course Marvel has proved, like especially that Guardians of the Galaxy, that people are definitely interested in seeing that on screen. And so then they, okay, we can do an Aquaman movie, and it made $1 billion. It was like, oh, the guy that talks to fish? It's like Jason Momoa. All right.
He is Aquaman. So. So what about Batman Kills?
So, excuse me. So because of the Snyderverse and the comments that Zack Snyder made about Batman, about get over it, what kind of world you live in, that's cute. If you think Batman doesn't kill people, oh, ha, 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 get over it, blah, blah, blah. Very, 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 very calloused way of looking at Batman. But if you look at the core Batman character, like Batman is not the Punisher. He's not judge, jury, and executioner. That's core and that's central to his character. He does not use guns because that's how his parents were killed. So much so, in fact, the story where he quit being Batman was because he had to use a gun once.
Yep. He was like, oh, nope, I'm getting beat up. This dude has the upper hand. I'm going to die. I don't want to die. Oh.
What did I do?
I can't be Batman no more.
Yeah. And that was like his realization was like, I've gone too far. And so that is core and central to his character. 2, he doesn't kill people. Like it's almost like I don't know.
That's the point of him being the justice, like the justice that he brings. He drops him off at Commissioner Gordon's door.
Yeah, that's why the police actually trust in him, because he goes too far, but not. He goes further than they'll go, but not too far.
And that's the point of, like, he's bringing justice to Gotham in a way through the police to reinstate hope in the justice system.
Yeah, I mean, remember the bat phone? He's got the red phone, like, direct to the commissioner's office. Like, that's a thing. I mean, of course, in Adam West, it's not always a red phone. But that idea is still there. Like, he is very, very connected to law enforcement and helping law enforcement get the city under control so he can stop being Batman.
Because it's not about anarchy for him.
Exactly.
It's the opposite.
Yeah. And that's the difference between him and the Joker.
Exactly.
You know, one bad day or whatever. But he will not kill the Joker. He just keeps... That's why there's an Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
He just keeps locking folks up. And he doesn't kill people.
So are they planning to kill in this movie?
That's the thing. Some people are like, oh, just get over it. I hope he kills in this movie. Batman is dark. And they're like so Snyderverse. Like they're... Because that's how they know Batman.
Yeah.
But they don't know Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, if you want to go watch a Punisher movie, go watch a Punisher movie. And that's been my argument with the DCEU from day one. Stop trying to make Superman into Batman. Stop trying to make Batman into the Punisher. Because once you up those antes, you can't go back.
Right.
Wow.
So you've got to have a baseline for your heroes. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, they can go up and down a little bit, but they stay near that baseline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Just characters in general.
Yeah. But Batman, he doesn't kill people, but he'll do something a lot worse. There was one comic, it's just like a know-nothing issue, but there was a sniper that was about to assassinate somebody. Batman tracked him down, stopped him before he could, and so that he wouldn't try to be a sniper anymore, he broke that man's hand, his shooting hand, in a way that it's not a hand no more.
Yeah.
So that he could no longer be a sniper or be a hitman.
Yeah, the interrogation process in the Christopher Nolan Batman, where he's smashing him all around, like, that's Batman.
Yeah.
And he's like, you never go for the head first. Anyway.
And that's why Batman can still be dark without killing.
Yeah.
Is because he is rough.
Yeah, and Pattinson recently said in an interview, they were asking him, it's kind of funny because you at one point you wanted to be this character, but then you said you could never see yourself playing a hero, yet now you're playing Batman. And he said, well, to be clear, Batman's not a hero.
He's a vigilante.
He's got his own form of justice. And based on what his intention in that is, it could go, I think that's where the argument is people are like, oh, I think he means this. And other people are like, no, I think he means this. You just said, like, I'm on that side where it's like, yeah, he's a vigilante. They're even in I keep bringing up the Nolan films because that's like the most recent successful iteration of Batman on film.
That was like the longest description ever.
Yeah, I don't want to throw Batfleck.
Label it or anything.
Yeah, I don't want to throw Batfleck under the bus because a lot of people are huge fans of Batfleck. Even in that Batman, there were times where he was at odds with law enforcement. But he still didn't kill folks. They thought he did, and that's why he went on the run and he stopped being Batman. Even in that series. And he stopped being Batman for a season. And I mean it wore on him. But anyways, I lost my train of thought, I think. But with this indie darker Batman, there's got to be a line. Like he goes to, I don't know if you've ever seen, this is a weird reference, but Aladdin, I think it's Return of Jafar. It's like the genie keeps saying, it's like a genie can't kill you, but you'd be surprised what you can live through. Mm-hmm. Like I think that's where Batman lives.
Yeah.
It's like dangling people, like threatening people, dangling people, off of the building or whatever. And they're afraid of him. And there are rumors out there that he kills folks. He's actual half man, half bat, and all this stuff.
But that goes along with the lore.
Exactly. That's the mythos. Yeah. But he doesn't actually. He's still got a core true north. That's what makes him a good guy. He's not necessarily a clean cut hero like
Which
Superman.
Is what I was about to say. That's what separates him from Superman.
Exactly, and that's because you've got to have different elements to different heroes. You can't have them all just be gray, morally gray or dark or gritty, because then it just gets bland on screen. You've got to have different personalities, different values, and
different depths.
Yeah, that's what makes watching them interesting, especially when you get into multiple heroes or multiple people on screen.
Yeah. And it's like, like some of the this quick,
Which is why Batman versus Superman didn't work.
Oh yeah.
Anyways.
There's a lot of reasons. Let's not do that though.
Yeah.
But like the old Justice League cartoon, there was one time the Batman
Which was great, by the way.
It was. There was one time Batman went away and like Superman was in Gotham and he had to interrogate someone there, and he was like, well, and they were like, you're not going to hurt me. You're not going to do anything. You're Superman. And he was like, well, okay. So he flew the dude up to like just right before the atmosphere. He was like, are you going to tell me? He was like, no, you're not going to drop me. And then he dropped him. But then he like went down and like caught him right before he hit the ground. Mm-hmm. But he's like, then the dude just pretty much told him everything. And then he went and saw Batman later. He's like, I had to pull a page out of your book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's been times where Superman, they're like, "Oh, I won't, but this guy will," and he'll step out of the way, and Batman will walk in and like crunch his knuckles,
So, but yeah, that's all I got.
If you think that the Joker and Batman are gonna connect, I would encourage you to watch which I think is hilarious, the IMDb. I ruined it. No.
IMDb.
This is why I hate going live. No, it's called IMDb Brief.
Oh.
And not IMDb, because they debrief on certain things. And so they actually put out like a short little video about how the Joker could connect to Batman. And it was pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, someone created this, someone not specifically in the know, and so I wouldn't take it as just cold hard facts. But it kind of made me lean into it and enjoy it, and so it was a nice little video.
I could definitely see them living in the same universe.
Yeah.
The same tone, everything. Mm-hmm. Like that, the psychological element with Batman fits so freaking well.
And like, if you think about the timeline that the Joker was in, Robert Pattinson looks that timeline. Like he has that kind of old style gangster look almost.
Oh yeah,
kind
he's
of
got
thing.
a classic look.
Very classic Bruce Wayne. So I could see that being like a very similar timeline, because I mean, you think Bruce is 12 or 13, whatever, whenever the other Joker kills his parents in the Joker movie. Spoiler, if you haven't seen the Joker. And so you think, 10, 12 years later, he's in his 20s or whatever, like that's not that far off.
Yeah, doing a younger Batman ups the possibility of the Joker being connected. But right now, if I had to guess, I would say that they're going to hold back and still say no on the surface until they announce, hey, guess what? Here's a spoiler. Or like in the movie, there's a reference, and everybody's like, oh, yes,
Or even like they could make this a standalone film, and then in whatever the next film is, it connects the two.
Right.
It doesn't have to connect them in this movie.
Yeah, it could be like a wait and see type thing.
They might just purely want to see how well it does.
Yeah, because I mean, the Long Halloween, he's going to be at Arkham Asylum. That's where Joker is.
And we see like
and Joker is
Phoenix's
in the Long
white-walled a mental Arkham Asylum kind of thing.
I mean, it doesn't even have to. I don't know what role the Joker plays in the Long Halloween, or how they're going to adapt that for screen or whatever. But even just like him walking by and looking through a window and seeing Joaquin Phoenix just like staring him down,
or even if like he's cycling through evidence that is like kept, and it's Joaquin Phoenix's suit, pressed in a little baggie,
or
like
flipping
it could
pages
be
and there's Arthur, in the names or something, just Easter eggs. Like they don't have to do a whole lot.
He's just not doing anything.
And even if they use the same name, it doesn't have to be that actual actor, if they do later or whatever.
Yeah.
But and technically, if you want to follow the DC Comics right now, there's 3 Jokers out there anyway, so that could be how they're doing. However, the Jared Leto Joker is no more.
I mean, they're already doing.
He's so mad.
Yeah, he's so pissed off about this. He was like, there was potential that he could still kind of be out there with Birds of Prey and everything. I think there's supposed to be a scene or whatever, but he's hardcore out. Like he's so pissed off, he's out.
Bye.
Yeah.
Sorry about ya.
Yeah, go be Morbius. Is that?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Just
we'll
go be
see.
Jared
We'll see
Leto.
how it does.
Just go be
Yeah, go
yourself
make some good
somewhere else.
music, Jared.
No, he didn't do that either. He wore a apron and weird gloves when we saw him.
Yeah.
Wasn't that him?
He looked like he had just come from
Cleaning the dishes.
yeah. He walked out with like
A
rubber
1950s
gloves.
kitchen. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
We saw him
Wearing
in concert.
a moo.
Oh.
Yeah. And all he did was
Okay.
like dramatically lower his sunglasses even though it was like 9 at night, and he's just like, look at my blue eyes. That's
Yeah.
all I have going for me.
He's so in love with himself.
I have no talent.
No, he's super talented. He's just he thinks he doesn't have to try anymore, I think. Anyways,
Oh yeah, he won an Oscar. I feel like
he
you
did.
don't have
He's
to try.
like, you go back and watch some of his other stuff, he's super talented. And his music, he's super talented. He's just drinking his own Kool-Aid right now, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, anything else on Batman? Yeah. So I'm super excited, geeking out over it, and we've gone almost 2 hours. So we're gonna let you go.
Sorry.
Thanks for tuning in. If you got anything extra to say or let us know about in the comments below, we'd appreciate that. Keep the conversation going. And give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks for joining us, and hope you'll join us live on YouTube next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon. Ding. So when we drop a new video. Podcast listeners, please leave us 5 stars in your podcast app. And don't forget to check out the website at www.broken.picturesno.com. And this is Dylan,
And I'm Lydia.
This is Quin.
and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.